Welcome to Mind Mechanics, the channel where we dig into the mysteries of the mind, consciousness, and the substances that influence both. Today we're tackling a topic that's often shrouded in confusion and controversy: bath salts. And no, we're not talking about the kind you throw in your bath for a relaxing soak. This is about synthetic cathinones, the substances behind some intense and often misunderstood experiences. So, let's break down what bath salts really are, what they do, and most importantly, how to approach the topic with safety and respect. Get ready, it's going to be quite a ride. What are bath salts? Bath salts, despite the misleading name, are synthetic cathinones, a group of man-made chemicals related to the khat plant, which has been chewed for centuries in East Africa and the Arabian Peninsula for its stimulant effects. These synthetic versions are designed to mimic the effects of naturally occurring cathinone, but often come with a much stronger punch. So why are they called bath salts? Well, when these substances first appeared in the US around the late 2000s, they were labeled as bath salts or plant food, and sold legally in head shops and online as a way to dodge drug laws. The name is simply a marketing tactic to make them sound harmless, which in reality couldn't be further from the truth. Here's an odd fact. Bath salts were often labeled not for human consumption on packaging to avoid legal restrictions, even though that's exactly what they were intended for. This tricky legal loophole gave bath salts a shady reputation from the start, contributing to some of the stigma that surrounds them today. Chemical composition? Bath salts are made up of synthetic cathinones, and there's a whole lineup of them, with each one affecting the brain slightly differently. The most well-known compounds include MDPV, methylene-deoxypyrovalerone, mephedrone, and alpha-PVP. These substances are structurally similar to amphetamines and, in some cases, can create effects similar to MDMA or cocaine, stimulating the brain's reward centers and increasing energy and euphoria. But they're also notorious for causing paranoia, aggression, and extreme overstimulation. What's happening in the brain? Bath salts typically flood the system with dopamine and norepinephrine. Think of them as your brain's go signals. This is what gives the intense burst of energy and euphoria, but also the intense paranoia and occasionally aggression when things go sideways. They can disrupt the brain's balance by overstimulating these pathways, which can lead to a sort of overload, where users may act impulsively or experience frightening delusions. Here's a fact that's not so widely known. Different batches of bath salts can vary wildly in potency and effects. Unlike substances like MDMA, where there's an established normal dosage, bath salts are often a mixed bag. You could have 2 bags of what looks like the same product, but the potency and exact chemical composition could be completely different. Other street names. Bath salts have their fair share of street names. They're known as Flakka, Vanilla Sky, Ivory Wave, Cloud 9, and sometimes just as research chemicals. Flakka, in particular, gained infamy in the US for causing bizarre behavior and health crises in some users. Zombie drug is another term that's cropped up, largely due to media stories about users behaving in ways that seem, well, like something out of a horror movie. And let's not forget the classic, plant food. Because nothing says, I'm safe and totally legal, like pretending to be something you sprinkle on your begonias. The many names reflect the not for human consumption loophole, but they also make it hard for people to know what they're actually dealing with. History of its use. While synthetic cathinones have only been around for a couple of decades, their natural ancestor, the khat plant, has been used for thousands of years. Chewing khat leaves produces mild stimulant effects, helping with energy and alertness, and has deep cultural significance in places like Yemen and Ethiopia. The leap from khat to synthetic cathinones, though, is huge. Bath salts, as we know them, appeared in the early 2000s, marketed as a legal alternative to other stimulants. Their popularity quickly exploded, partly due to their accessibility and low cost. But as more people began experimenting, the horror stories started emerging, people experiencing psychotic breaks, aggressive behavior, and violent outbursts that made headlines. By 2012, the US had banned several key synthetic cathinones, though new compounds continue to pop up as chemists tweak formulas to evade regulations. Here's a twist. Some people initially turned to bath salts because they were easier to access, and in some cases less stigmatized than street drugs. But as media stories took off, bath salts quickly became associated with unpredictable and even terrifying behavior, adding a new layer of fear and stigma to their use. Where do they come from? Bath salts are synthetic, which means they're made in labs, often overseas in countries with looser chemical regulations. Most of the bath salts on the market are manufactured in illegal or semi-legal labs, primarily in China and Eastern Europe, and then smuggled or shipped to various countries. One lesser-known fact, because of their synthetic nature, the exact formula for bath salts can vary drastically. Manufacturers tweak chemical structures to stay ahead of legal restrictions, leading to designer drugs that look similar but have different effects. This constant game of chemical cat and mouse is why bath salts are so unpredictable. How much do they cost? Bath salts are generally cheap compared to other drugs. A single gram might cost around $25 to $50, depending on the location and quality, and some users report getting multiple doses out of a single gram. The affordability is one reason bath salts caught on so quickly. Low cost and high intensity made them an attractive option for users seeking a powerful high without a big price tag. However, the cheap price comes with hidden costs. Because bath salts are so variable in potency and effects, users often find themselves in unpredictable or dangerous situations. For example, a dose that seems manageable one time might cause intense side effects the next. This unpredictability is why bath salts are associated with more publicized incidents of severe psychosis and dangerous behavior. What effects do they have on the body scientifically? When bath salts enter the body, they stimulate the central nervous system, causing a surge in dopamine and norepinephrine. This produces effects similar to stimulants like cocaine or methamphetamine. Think elevated heart rate, increased energy, and heightened alertness. However, bath salts often come with a sharper edge, leading to anxiety, paranoia, and hallucinations. Because they overstimulate the brain, bath salts can cause severe dehydration, muscle breakdown, and even organ failure in extreme cases. Over time, these effects can be incredibly taxing on the body, leading to potential long-term health consequences. Another strange effect? Bath salts can raise body temperature to dangerous levels, a condition known as hyperthermia. This is why some users experience extreme overheating and even tear off their clothes to cool down. The intense stimulation and body temperature increase are a double-edged sword, giving users energy but also straining the body to a risky extent. Breaking down those effects, in plain English. Imagine if caffeine, adrenaline, and sheer panic were packed into one tiny packet. That's often what bath salts feel like. Users describe a surge of energy and euphoria, but also a sense of losing control. Thoughts race, paranoia spikes, and things that wouldn't normally seem scary can become overwhelming. In some cases, users experience hallucinations, but unlike psychedelics, these aren't typically friendly visuals. Bath salts tend to amplify any underlying anxiety, turning even minor worries into major fears. It's like cranking up every emotion to the max, making it easy to spiral into a cycle of fear and impulsive actions. And then there's the physical side. Bath salts can make your heart pound, your skin feel hot, and your muscles tense up. It's an intense experience that some compare to being on edge for hours, with a come-down that can feel exhausting or even depressing. Duration of its effects. The effects of bath salts vary widely, but generally last around 3 to 5 hours. However, some users report lingering symptoms like paranoia or muscle tension that can last for days. The high itself comes on quickly, usually within minutes, and peaks in intensity, leading to a fast-paced and often overwhelming experience. One tricky thing with bath salts is that the come-down can be harsh. Because bath salts deplete dopamine and norepinephrine, users might feel drained, moody, or anxious afterward. For some, the after effects are mild, but others experience lasting tension, paranoia, or fatigue. General precautions and harm reduction. Here's where we get into the essential harm reduction tips. Bath salts aren't the safest substances, but understanding how to reduce risks is crucial. First, test your product if possible. While test kits for synthetic cathinones aren't as common as for MDMA or LSD, reagent tests can help identify some compounds. Given the variability in bath salts, testing can provide at least a partial idea of what's in the mix. Start small. This might sound obvious, but because the potency of bath salts is so unpredictable, taking a test dose can help gauge how strong the batch is. With bath salts, less is more, especially because they're known for hitting hard and fast. Starting small can make a big difference in managing the experience and keeping it under control. Stay hydrated, but be cautious about overhydration. Bath salts can cause dehydration, particularly if you're active or in a hot environment. Sipping water throughout the experience is essential. But like with MDMA, don't overdo it. Too much water can lead to hyponatremia, a dangerous condition where your body's salt levels get diluted. Aim for a few sips every half hour, especially if you're dancing or moving around. Avoid mixing substances when using bath salts. Mixing bath salts with other stimulants, alcohol, or depressants can increase the risk of dangerous side effects. Because bath salts are already potent and unpredictable, adding other substances only complicates things further and can increase the chances of severe reactions, like heart problems or extreme anxiety. Take breaks to cool down if you're in an active environment, as bath salts can raise your body temperature quickly. Hyperthermia, dangerously high body temperature, is a common risk, especially for those moving around intensely. Bringing cool towels, ice packs, or just sitting down to take a breather can help regulate body temperature and prevent overheating. And for a lesser-known hack, keep some calming supplements handy. Magnesium, for instance, can help reduce muscle tension and jaw clenching, both of which are common with bath salts. Some users find that having chamomile or valerian root tea on hand for afterward can help ease the come down and prevent post-use anxiety. Lastly, have a trusted friend nearby if you're experimenting. Bath salts can amplify emotions and sometimes lead to impulsive behavior, so having a sober friend around can provide a grounding influence. They can help keep you calm and remind you to stay hydrated, cool, and safe if the experience becomes overwhelming. Government's opinion. Most countries have banned bath salts or synthetic cathinones, classifying them as controlled substances. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, has listed common synthetic cathinones like MDPV and mephedrone as Schedule I drugs, which means they're illegal to manufacture, possess, or distribute. However, banning specific compounds has led to an ongoing cat-and-mouse game between law enforcement and chemists, as new variations of bath salts continue to pop up. Manufacturers tweak the chemical structures just enough to skirt around laws, creating new versions that are technically legal until they're banned. This constant cycle of new compounds keeps bath salts on the market, and the constant evolution of chemical formulas is part of what makes them so unpredictable. Despite the bans, some countries like Portugal and parts of Canada have taken a harm reduction approach, focusing on public health and support over criminalization. Programs in these countries provide resources for safer use and education about the risks, which can be more effective in reducing harm than punishment. Are you finding this deep dive into bath salts enlightening? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos that explore the mind, the substances that influence it, and how to approach it all with safety and respect. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our next fascinating topic. Now let's continue! Our opinion. Bath salts are a challenging topic because they carry significant risks, but they're also often misunderstood. They've been stigmatized heavily in the media, and while there are legitimate reasons for concern, not every story about bath salts is representative of a typical experience. The stigma around bath salts, and substances like them, can sometimes make it harder for people to seek help or ask questions, and it can lead to misinformation that does more harm than good. It's important to recognize that many people turn to substances like bath salts out of curiosity, a need for escapism, or because they lack access to other, safer options. Understanding the appeal of bath salts, the energy boost, the euphoria, the affordability, helps us address the issue from a place of empathy. For people in difficult situations, substances like bath salts can feel like a quick fix, even if they come with risks. By understanding the why behind their use, we can better support people in finding safer alternatives. One of the biggest dangers with bath salts is unpredictability. Because of the constantly changing chemical structures and lack of regulation, each batch can have very different effects, even for experienced users. This unpredictability is why harm reduction is so important. Encouraging safe practices like testing, small doses, and having a friend around can make a big difference in safety. As for the media portrayal of bath salts, it's worth noting that sensationalist stories don't tell the full story. Cases of extreme behavior and psychosis are often due to high doses or mixed substances, and while these cases are concerning, they don't represent the experience of every user. The more balanced and accurate information we can share, the more we empower people to make informed choices. There's also hope for a future where harm reduction approaches can replace criminalization. Countries like Portugal have shown that treating substance use as a public health issue instead of a criminal one can lead to better outcomes, including fewer overdoses and safer practices. Bath salts, while risky, are part of a broader conversation about how we treat substances and those who use them. Offering education, support, and non-judgmental resources can make a huge difference in reducing the harms associated with bath salts and similar substances. In the end, bath salts remind us of the complexities of human behavior and the need for balanced, compassionate approaches. Yes, these substances carry real risks, but by moving beyond fear and stigma, we can promote safer choices, informed decisions, and a more compassionate understanding of why people use these substances in the first place. Thanks for watching Mind Mechanics. We hope this journey through the world of bath salts has been informative and eye-opening. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, share it with someone who might benefit, and let us know in the comments what other topics you'd like us to cover. Remember, stay curious, stay safe, and keep exploring the mysteries of the mind with us. Until next time!